I was in high school, to avoid bad situations, I had a group of friends who were with me in not wanting to drink or do drugs or anything like that.
You know, on a Friday night, it would be easy for us to just hang out and not have any alcohol involvement, because that's just something that we didn't do. And as a team, we had a goal of what we wanted to do, and we knew the negative effects of alcohol and decided to go the safer route.
You know, when you're working with 14, 15, 16, 17-year-old kids, there are tough decisions that they have to make sometimes.
Extracurricular activities are important to students' growth and development because it helps to keep them active during the school year, keep them focused on their grades, involved in school, and good chance to meet new people and create new friendships.
The things that mean the most to me are, I think, the relationships that I was able to create. You know, it's great to win games and it's great to win championships, but you kind of forget about every game you win, and you just remember the people that were there with you and the fun times that you had getting to where you were. And I think that's the kind of things that I still remember today.
Just to be part of a team like that is a great activity, and I think that's something that you have to be willing not to sacrifice.
It teaches them skills that they can't learn in the classroom. You know, the competitiveness, the ability to work with others, and it keeps them busy, and often those kids who are more involved are academically better off as well because they learn the time management skills they need in order to succeed.
Breaking the athletic code affects a student in many ways. I know when kids that broke it while I was in high school, it kind of separated them into a different group. And it was hard for people who didn't drink because you'd lose friends that way. You'd lose teammates because they were no longer able to participate.
The athletic and/or activity code is something where if a student makes a poor choice outside of the school day or even inside of the school day.
When I was in high school, underage drinking was a pretty big problem. From what I've seen, most of the kids that underage drank got themselves in some sort of trouble, whether it was with the athletic code or with their family or their lifestyle. It just seemed to have many negative outcomes.
The poor choices that students have made have been drug and alcohol related. Sometimes it's bringing it into the school. Most of the time it's at a party or something outside of the school day or on the weekends. Some of the poor choices have been involving social media, where students have been bullying other students on Facebook or Twitter or things like that.
An incident that occurred where a student had lost their privileges, their athletic privileges, is a very difficult time for a student athlete. I think about kids that are seniors, where this is their last chance, and typically they're at their peak of athletic ability, and to lose that opportunity, I think, is very crushing. Most of the time when kids look back 2 or 3, 4 or 5 years down the road, they really regret those decisions. You try as an adult and as a coach and as a role model to give those messages to kids. You try to teach your captains to relay those messages, and you just hope that it gets through. Because you don't want a kid to make a mistake that they could have potentially avoided should they have made different choices.
The other thing I try to stress to them is that it's not just breaking the athletic code, it's also breaking the law.
The topic of underage drinking is very important to me because I feel like it puts our students in jeopardy when they make bad decisions. And the state of Wisconsin is known for its drinking, and when you look at the community of Cambridge, oftentimes you see parents and adults after a football game, basketball game, they go to the local bars or they go home and engage in drinking alcoholic beverages. The problem is the students aren't 21 yet, so they shouldn't be doing that. So oftentimes we see kids going out after the events and trying to emulate their parents' behavior, making poor decisions, and that's when they find themselves getting into trouble.
I think parents have to remember that they are role models for their children. Even though they're teenagers or almost adults, as a parent, you're still their biggest role model. They're still looking at you for how they should be living their lives. And I think as parents, you really need to evaluate what your relationship with alcohol is like. Are you going to a lot of social functions where people are getting drunk? If you are, your teenager is looking at you doing that and thinking, well, maybe that's okay because mom and dad do that. So I think we really need to, as parents, show our kids what is a healthy relationship with alcohol and tell them what our expectations are in terms of what they drink. Alcohol can have negative effects on your athletic abilities and your abilities to perform at your best. I think if you're going to be drinking a lot of alcohol, you can't expect your body to perform at the level that you want it to.
Well, it's obviously going to affect their performance. It also is going to affect their concentration level. I mean, if you're not physically ready to go, most of the time mentally you're not going to be ready to go either, and so it affects that. I mean, there have been studies done that show that one heavy night of drinking takes away 2 weeks of athletic activity and building up stamina and strength.
Your brain is also still developing, you're still learning, you're still trying to do your best at school, and if you're drinking a lot of alcohol, that has a negative impact on your brain's ability to function as well.
Whether you have an athletic code violation or not, or whether you're in sports or not, there's a certain level of responsibility. Whether it's to yourself, your teachers, your parents, family, even the kids in elementary school and middle school. I think that if you remember back when you were that young, you look up to these people. You know what they do. And you're a role model to them.
There are a lot of younger kids who come to games, basketball games, football games, whatever, and when those younger kids see them on the sidelines and they're asking their parents why are they there, to have to explain that they're suspended for something, for breaking the activity code, is tough because we want to have the best athletes on our teams and want to have the most respected athletes on our teams. So our expectations are high and we follow through with the activity code.
We view athletics as a privilege, not a right, and that goes with additional responsibilities for the student athlete and their behavior and how they represent our school and community.
It's okay to say no. It's okay to say no. And ultimately, that's going to earn you more respect and more admiration than deciding to go with the crowd. It may not happen right away, but it will happen.
For someone that's just coming into high school and having the peer pressure of alcohol, in their minds in the high school, I think it's important for them to remember that their reputation is one of the biggest things that they will hold, especially in a small community.
I think the positive choices I made in high school really helped lead me into college because I felt confident in myself and the decisions that I was making, and I was able to keep doing that. And I think that's important as a student athlete to know and feel confident in the decisions that you're making.
My advice to you would be to enjoy your time in high school because it goes fast, and try to make the right decisions while you're there.
If someone were to ask me the question, would you rather have a drink rather than winning 2 conference championships and 3 regional championships? Not a chance.